Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, which this is the agreement between 15 countries of Asia, mostly East Asia, which was signed in November 2020, and it was much in discussion in that particular period, and it will be one of the major trading blocks in coming future, and of course it is one of the largest free trade agreement ever signed in the history of the world. So let's discuss about some factual information about this RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. First of all, the member countries of RCEP includes Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, China, Japan, South Korea, Australia, and New Zealand. Now, basically most of these countries were existing ASEAN members, and ASEAN plus 3, ASEAN plus 6, and most of these countries already had their bilateral free trade agreements with each other. I think the figure is 83% of the countries of this RCEP already have existing bilateral free trade agreement. So this is basically expanding the scope of free trade agreement. Now, one more fact: the collective global global economic output, in this collective global economic output, this RCEP countries will contribute around 30% of the economic output. So almost like 1/3 of the global economic output comes from these RCEP countries. And the collective GDP of these countries stands $26 trillion, approximately $26 trillion when the agreement was signed. Now, another important feature of the agreement is that it has common rules of origin. Now, we will discuss about this common rules of origin in detail later in the same video. But one more striking thing is that to be considered originated in RCEP region, the need is only to have 40% content, 40% material from this RCEP country. That means 60% of the material or 60% of raw material goods, if imported from some other country out of the region, and 40% from RCEP region, then also it will be considered as RCEP origin. So this is one more fact, but a striking thing which must be considered while discussing RCEP. Now, what is the agreement basically? What agreement signifies is that over the next 20 years, the signatories, the members of RCEP, have to reduce the tariffs by 90% on the goods over the next 20 years. This is basic framework of RCEP, and most of the factual information has been covered. Now we will try to analyze the RCEP agreement and the broad repercussions of this RCEP on the global economic order and global economic output. This RCEP basically started coming on the surface from 2011, and around same time Trans-Pacific Agreement was Trans-Pacific Partnership, that was also was in discussion those days, but this Trans-Pacific Partnership is now dropped in 2017 by United States of America, and finally this RCEP materialized in 2020. Now, what is the significance of this RCEP? First of all, Now India is not part of RCEP. Now this India and RCEP becomes another topic of discussion that I will discuss in some other video. Right now we will focus on only RCEP. Now, as we know that these countries already have very strong manufacturing capacity. It is a manufacturing hub of the world. This RCEP region, which includes China, Japan, South Korea, and Australia, and of course Malaysia, Myanmar, Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam. These countries are already very strong in their manufacturing, and this is a manufacturing hub of the world. Majority of the products are finding their origin from this particular region, or the value chain is somewhere connected to this region. Now, what is the takeaway is that in this region, different countries are at different stages of economic development. And in those countries, different economic sectors are developing at different pace. So, for example, Cambodia might be having a strong agricultural sector, but not a strong manufacturing sector. Whereas in some other country like Japan, they might be very good at service sector, but not so good at agriculture. So, like that, different countries are having a different strong points and some weak points. But the point is to be noted is that these countries collectively form a very strong value chain even prior to RCEP. Even prior to RCEP agreement, these countries were one of the major countries which is having major multinational companies, offices, manufacturing units, and the value chain across this region forms not only it's wider but it's deeper. So what I want to highlight is that this RCEP, instead of looking it as from the like wide region is being taken as the market integration or economic integration, obviously that is the case, but depth wise, economic depth, it is also vertically going deeper in the value chains. And that's why this particular RCEP countries will command a distinctive advantage in the global economy once this agreement comes into effect. Some of the countries are very good at sourcing raw material. They are very good at outsourcing raw material. Some of the countries are manufacturing hubs such as China. Some of the countries are having very strong infrastructure like China, Japan, South Korea. Whereas some of the countries are lagging in infrastructure such as Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar. So this differences basically turn out to be advantage, because these countries where the infrastructure is not so well developed, they might get incentive, or this infrastructure development will get incentivized because of this agreement, or there will be continuous flow of economic goods, and that's why the integration will be meaningful. Now, as I said, the striking factor about this agreement is common rules of origin. Now, what is this? In simple words, it means suppose a country like Cambodia is exporting some raw material to, let's say, Australia. Some raw material from Cambodia is been given to Australia, and Australia manufactured completely new product from that raw material. In this case, the product will be considered as origin in Australia. The second country, another country like Australia, will be taken as the origin country for that particular product, country of origin Australia. So this is a striking development in RCEP. agreement, that these common rules of origin will be followed. So this will increase the intra-regional trade tremendously. And the point again I would like to highlight that the intra-regional trade in this region can be given, or it's already, they have already identified that there could be a very smooth and rapid economic transactions between this region, but it was held because of the number of reasons. But once this materializes, the region will get a completely new boost, and multinational companies will find it easy to reduce their cost if they if they form their value chains across this region. And basically the region is very diverse, from manufacturing, raw material, consumption. For the matter of the fact is that China is also largest producer. It also turns out to be the largest consumer of the luxurious goods as well as number of other goods. The high-end countries like South Korea, Japan, China, Australia, and New Zealand also are good consumers, whereas the countries like Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Indonesia are suppliers of raw material. So this is complementary and supplementary to each other. That's why this region is likely to find a very strong economic, not only recovery from the pandemic, but even afterwards this region might do well as compared to the other regions in the world. Thank you for watching the video. I hope the video is useful for number of audiences. Do share this video with your friends, relatives and like-minded people, and subscribe to the channel for interesting updates. Thank you.